On table one, they're getting ready to lag. It's Niels Feijen, who's the star of the show here, up against Nguyen Ngoc Tai.
Yeah, and I wonder, you know, Niels, he'll notice the table quickly, and we'll see how that match goes about. But Carl Boys and Michael McMillan.
Yep, they'll be behind the microphone in just a few seconds.
It's Phil and Jeremy for that. And there is Niels Feijen. If you don't already know, his nickname's the Terminator, and I think that close-up there illustrates why, if you know your 1990s film history. Looks pretty mean there. He's actually one of the friendliest guys you could ever hope to meet. Still full of enthusiasm for the game. 46 years of age. Someone who, even at that advanced stage of his career, I can assure you, still fully hoping for more good times ahead. Certainly been a struggle for all four players really involved in the last two matches we've seen on the main table. Some suggestion that the conditions, one way or another, are making things difficult for them.
Yeah, it seems to be. We're still waiting for that standout performance.
Nguyen Ngoc Tai, the latest Vietnamese player to take to the main table. They're certainly getting plenty of opportunities to shine in these feature matches over the first couple of days in their home country. Even those who haven't played well have generally looked fairly comfortable with the setting and knowing they're playing in front of cameras, which isn't always the case at these open events. But having said that, that is quite an astonishing miss on the four.
Decent run at the Perry Open, Niels Feijen. Just a few days ago, he actually got himself in a position to win against Anton Raga. He missed a real easy four ball. I think it was at 8-8. He was absolutely sick. Cost him the match because he was down quite big in that match against Raga.
Yeah, that was in the quarters. Raga then lost in the semis to the eventual winner, Federer Gorst. Playing in these big international events for so long now. Had his first really strong showing and deep run at the US Open all the way back in 1997. Only 20 years of age then.
Decent shot there, to control the 6-ball, that was the key. One thing you always get with Niels Feijen is the consistency in the way he conducts himself at the table. He always strides round very positively, very focused. That's took years of training as well. It's not just practice on the table. He does so much away from the table as well.
Well, pretty confident start this. Dreadful miss by his opponent. Niels Feijen has extracted full price, and quite quickly really. He leads 1-0 in the second round of the Hanoi Open, playing for places in winners qualification. If you get through that round, you are through to the single elimination final 64, where you will face one of the players who's come through on the loser's side. The winner of this match at the moment will be on course to play Gerson Martinez of Peru. He's on the hill at 8-6 against John Del Maison of the Philippines. Aloysius Yap over on table 2. Still firmly in control against Rafael de Breo. That's 5-0. And Imran Majid is just behind now against Go Chin of Singapore at 7-6. So those are the only 4 matches still to be completed today on the winner's side. I'll give you some details on the loser's side a little later.
What result is that there? Didn't make the one. Random ball's gone in the side pocket. Got a good look at the 1 ball here. Looks like he can go in the side or the corner. Just need to figure out which is the best angle. Side looks, they both look okay to be honest, but the side, if he can just play a little drag shot and hold for the blue too. I mean, the balls are all very spread out. There's no clusters. Pretty much looks like this first shot is the one that's going to set him up for rack 2. Watch out, 9 ball. Watch out, 9 ball. May get the short stick.
Intense focus has never changed over the years. If anything, it's strengthened. You see it written all over his face there. Just seems to put that same level of effort into every single match, whether it's the early rounds of a small event, a couple of which he's won this year on the World 9-Ball Tour, and the later stages of a major championship.
Yeah, you could see the plan there. Trying to use a 3 ball to the hook shot. But it was a chance off the break. Just seems to be the story of the day here on TV Table. Mistake after mistake after mistake, Michael.
What do you think? Are the conditions a big factor in that?
It's a little hot in here. It's not unbearable. Pool players are used to playing in all kinds of conditions. I think a lot of it's maybe you're looking for excuses. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. I mean, I don't know when players have arrived here. There's obviously a little bit of jet lag. Usually if you come from overseas, it's not easy to sleep great, is it? So maybe a few factors. Different table as well. Playing on this Rasson. New style Rasson. I'm sure this won't stay this way though, Michael. I'm sure things will improve.
I guess players, to whatever extent they can, will learn to adapt to those conditions as the days go by, and those jet lag problems you alluded to there, you would expect to fade for each individual as the week goes on. And he passed up his earlier chance. Feijen back at the table with another opportunity to take this second rack. He's lost the cue ball just a little there. World champion in 2014, beat a very young Albin Ocean in the final. It's won the World Masters, prestigious high-quality invitational event on a couple of occasions. Second of which was only 5 years ago. And he once played you in a World 8-ball final, Carl, which you just managed to edge.
Seems like a lifetime ago. Wow. What a favourable roll he's had there.
He hooked himself behind the 9 to pass up his earlier opportunity. Roll's reversed here. The 9 comes to his rescue.
But it's another a ball missed rather on match table. What is going on out there? Yeah, I mean, that is missable, in fairness. It's very thin across the slate. And whenever you miss it, you do usually send it into that rail.
Well, the usual story there, coming in and out of the jaws with the ball hanging in the lip of the pocket. Very hard to know what the cue ball is going to do, especially when it's travelling some distance as it was there. Should be able to lay a good hook. Is he playing the bank? Yeah, he's had a go at the bank shot. Okay, he had a good chance to lay the snooker there. Not for him. I think we've seen that with a few of the less familiar Vietnamese players, that they do seem to have a tendency to make the unexpected shot selection. And plenty of chances in this rack. It looks like he's going to take this one. So another match with errors on both sides on the main table early on. But Niels Feijen establishing a bit of early control here. He leads 2-0. And John Del Maison of the Philippines has battled back well against Gerson Martinez from Peru. He's now taken that to a hill-hill finish. The winner of that will play the winner of this in winners qualification. Lucius Yap shouldn't be too far away from booking his place in the next round now, because he leads Rafael Debreo of the United States by 6 racks to 0. While Imran Majid, now in his 50s, has won the 14th rack to level with Go Chin of Singapore at 7 each. Now the only match is still going on the winner's side. There was a lot of talk this year, Carl, about who was going to be the new European Mosconi Cup captain, and Niels' name came up, but he's still at a point where he feels he can make the team. Do you think it's inevitable he'll do that job at some point in the future?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think there's a few Europeans that you feel like at some point they will get the captaincy gig. I think Niels may have been offered as well.
For this time?
I think so, yeah. I heard a rumour. But listen, he wants to compete, doesn't he? Can't really fault him. Why rush it? He wants to try and qualify. So I think there's definitely a few guys from Europe who we will see be the captain one day.
I think if you were trying to design a captain, it would probably be Niels, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's got that aura about him, hasn't he? You know, he doesn't mess about. He means business. Seems to get on with everybody. No one's really got a bad word to say about him. I'm going to say he might miss this ball. Yeah, it's gone a little bit thick.
Another chance for Feijen. And he's got that good mix, hasn't he? That relentless determination and competitiveness, but also such an easy guy to get along with, and likes to build people up and boost their confidence.
Yeah, and you know, it's not just about being in the practice room at the Mosconi Cup, it's about away from the table as well, and he's not just all about pool. You know, you can have a conversation with him about other things, and that's important as well.
I know that when we were in Spain over the summer, Marc Bijsterbosch had just managed to lose that Spanish Open final from the brink of victory, which would have been a pretty unexpected first big title for Bijsterbosch. Well, he and Feijen were playing together in the World Cup a few days later, and Niels just said to him, come on, let's just go and have fun for a few days and forget about it and get in the right frame of mind. And I know Bijsterbosch really appreciated that. They're the sort of skills and the man management instincts that would serve him well when, as we expect, at some point in the future, he is Mosconi captain.
These are the type of shots where he seems to have missed the odd one or two. Just needs to focus. He's got another ball where he might just catch the bottom rail. Yeah, good shot.
I always sense with him he's never leaving anything to chance in his mind. He weighs up every aspect of the shot and everything that needs to be taken into consideration. And yet he does all that without being a slow player.
Yeah, I think he understands it's a rhythm game, it's a confidence game. I think that's why you see him stride around the table as well. He doesn't walk round, does he? He takes these big, ginormous strides.
Yeah, real sense of purpose to him. And you could say the same about the way he played that rack. Very different to all the mistakes of the previous one. So Niels Feijen broke dry for the first time in the match, but has ended up playing that rack very nicely, and he now leads 3-0. If he gets through, he'll play Gerson Martinez. The Peruvian World Cup player has held on in the end in the face of a late recovery from Jundel Maison. Martinez winning by 9 racks to 8. And Lucius Yap, US Open finalist, around about this time 2 years ago. A couple of racks away now from completing a whitewash against Rafael de Breo on table 2. You can watch all the table 2 action on Matchroom Multisport YouTube throughout the week. Go Chin of Singapore, Yap's compatriot, has made it to the hill now against Imran Majid. He's won the 15th rack to lead 8-7. There you can see play going on a lot of other tables, all on the loser's side. And once we get the other winner's side matches completed, we'll turn our focus to that. This will probably be the last second round match on, well, we call it the winner's side, and I suppose it is, as they've both already come through one round to get here. Oh, cue ball. And ball in hand here, and looking at the way they've fallen, it's a chance for Nguyen Ngoc Tai to finally start getting into this match. He's had 1 or 2 bad misses already in this match, so whether or not he takes this opportunity could tell us a bit about the likelihood of him settling in.
Just don't want to land straight. It's the only way this can go wrong. Yeah, he's got a nice angle there, can come out. Probably play for the Browns 7 in the left middle. Cue ball's got to do a little bit of travelling, so he's got to make sure he finds this right line. Might leave himself a little bit of a stretch here though. Of course, all the players have all these fancy gadgets now, different size extensions in the cue case.
Well, he was starting to look fairly fluent up until the previous shot, where seemed a little snatchy. So he has left himself a tester now. This is far from guaranteed, especially when it's to get your first rack on the board. Seen a lot of balls much easier than this missed today. Yeah, he was really nowhere near that. Ominous signs. Feijen starting to look very confident and assured here. He's already almost halfway to victory at 4-0.
We say it a lot, Michael, don't we? It's all about opportunities and chances here. When you come up against the players who have achieved big things in the game of 9-ball pool, chances like that previous rack, you just simply have to take.
Well, another thing we always say is when you're going out on the main table and you're the underdog, you might feel, I'm okay with this, I can handle this early on. And then you start to miss a few and you fall behind on the match and you're panicking about maybe getting whitewashed. Suddenly the game becomes very, very difficult indeed. That may be what we're seeing here with Nguyen Ngoc Tai. Niels Feijen firmly in control, 4-0.
Yet to make the one ball in the side. He's making random balls. And look at this. This is set up absolute delightful.
Talked earlier about his individual successes. But I think he's probably better known for his wonderful history in the Mosconi Cup. Great to be World 9-Ball champion, but a lot of other players have done that. Obviously, it's a tiny percentage of those who played. But he's the only one to have been MVP in the Mosconi on 4 occasions. With 3 in a row. Now, what often isn't said, Carl, when we trot that out, is that the next year, when he was trying to make it 5 MVPs, he actually won all of his matches. The only reason he missed out was because Alban Ocean just played 1 match more and he won all of his as well.
Yeah, the year in 2015, that was the same as me and Niels. He played 1 more than me. It's a bit flawed, that MVP, by the way. Let's not get too giddy about that.
Still sound angry about it, Carl.
Well, it's a flawed system. That needs changing. I'm going to have a word with that.
Would you be saying that if you had won it?
I always speak the truth,
I know.
whether it's to do with me or somebody else.
Well, what would you do then to change the MVP system?
Probably put it to the other team captain. Like
What?
they vote.
The losing team captain would pick the MVP.
Yeah, the other team. I mean, I think it's quite obvious who's played the best within the team. I don't think it should go down to the point system they use, because you get more points for winning a singles point. Some players are playing weaker players. I just think it's a bit of a flawed system.
What you will say, though, is you don't win the MVP without playing really well in the Mosconi.
Yeah, and obviously you've got to be in the team, haven't you, for a start? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but I just think when you go down to that points, you know, you pick up points for singles and doubles. Now you've got fans' choice, so they get to play an extra game. It's flawed, isn't it?
Well, one thing that there's never any dispute or debate about is who's made the winning point. And he's done that on a couple of occasions as well. Remarkable to think he first played in the Mosconi Cup 22 years ago, and we're still talking about him as someone who could quite definitely make the team without anyone being surprised.
Yeah, that's the achievement, to be fair. 22 years and still going strong.
And really going strong in this match. He now leads it by 5 racks to 0. Imran Majid, another player who's still going strong, and he's even a few years older than Feijen, has never quite reached the same heights as him in the game, of course. But he has drawn level with Go Chin, so that one is 8-all now. Winner of that will play Oscar Dominguez of the United States in the next round. And Aloysius Yap is on the hill and 1 away from completing a whitewash over Rafael de Breo of the US. 8-0 to Yap. And looking pretty certain now to play Chang Yulong.
There it is. There's the 1 ball. He's been searching for that the whole match.
Yeah, he was some way out with that if he was playing the pot. That was the attempt to come back round for the 3. It was asking a lot. He's got a good result. Oh dear, well, I mean, that's just a complete calamity because he's failed to make contact with the 2, which makes it a foul anyway, but just to add a bit of embarrassment to it, you'll see it here, he brushes the 7 with his cue going through. Potted the 6, scratched as well. Quite an achievement to do 4 things in one shot.
Yeah, 4 things that are all wrong.
Yeah. I was speaking with irony, Carl. You're from the north of England, you should understand that better than anyone. We talked about his Mosconi record. He's also performed very well in the World Cup over the years. In fact, it's a bit like the Football World Cup, where the Netherlands are the only country to have been in 3 finals and never won it. They're the only country to have been in the World Cup of Pool final more than once without ever winning the trophy. Back-to-back years. One of those was against you, wasn't it?
Another final I've done him in.
You were his bogeyman.
Yeah, he had plenty of wins against me, but I'm sure he'd swap. This has all gone wrong. Ball in hand as well. That'll wind him up, especially with ball in hand.
Looks a bit embarrassed.
Yeah, so he should be, Michael. Nah, I'm only joking. A little bit of fun here. It happens. 2 rail kick. Try and pot the 3. Ooh, that was close. Doesn't look close, but it was close. May be able to thin snip this ball in. Don't ask me where the cue ball's going though. Yeah. Well, or you could just put the cue ball in the side pocket, Michael, and give Niels ball in hand. That was very kind of him, that.
Tend to see a lot of whitewashes in first round matches in these events. Not so many in the second round, because obviously then you're always going to be up against someone who's already won a match, unless of course they've had a bye. But we have had a whitewash in the last few moments on table 2. Lucius Yap has seen it out at 9-0 against Rafael de Breo of the United States, but will surely meet a much tougher challenge against Chang Yu Lung in the next round.
Had to make sure he come over into the centre of the table, just because the 9 ball was in his way if the cue ball was on the left side of the table. Just losing the cue ball anywhere not on the rail, this rack would have been over. Now he's got a little bit of work to do. Got to avoid that right hand side middle pocket. It was okay. That natural angle took him past the middle.
Yeah, you know, he's made some mistakes, particularly early on, but overall, he's playing pretty well here. Niels Feijen is now 2/3 of the way to victory at 6-0. We talk about players in cue sports being dominant with one eye, and obviously then the cue is way away from the centre. Niels Feijen takes that to extremes I've never seen from anyone else. Could you imagine even finding it possible to play that way?
No, I couldn't. But I suppose everyone's got their own little style, haven't they?
Oh yeah, I mean, Niels Feijen is someone who thinks a lot about the game. He's a student of pool. If he's doing it, it's only because it's what's right for him. I saw those Terminator eyes there glaring down at that winning 9 ball. which took him to the happy half dozen. Still no result from table 11. The only other match still going on in this round. Imran Majid against Go Chin. Turns out to be a long final rack. This one could be over before it.
Another good break. Be a safety shot on the blue too, though. He'll send the cue ball around the table. Yeah, here it comes. All because of the 9, the brown 7, the green 6. You can play that many different ways and get different results, but the results are stacked on your side. The percentages are with you on that shot. Rail first though. You should go close to potting this ball.
He didn't really threaten with it, and hard to say conclusively, but he may have left the 2. You see him going back to his chair there. He's laughing and smiling, and I don't know if that's a good thing to see really when you're not playing well, you're 6-0 down. It's okay to do it if it's after either you or your opponent has just had a massive stroke of fortune or misfortune. Really, I don't think it sends a good signal. Sends a good signal though. Hammered in the 2, nicely on the 3. He made such a good start to 2023. I know he was absolutely heartbroken to lose a close quarter-final at the World Championship to Mario He, and then he had a very good run as well in the World Masters. Turned it round to beat the defending champion Joshua Filler on the opening night, and beat Max Lechner in the quarters, and was 6-0 up in the semi-final against Declan Catchy. And we were remarking at the time he'd won the World Masters in 2013, won it again 5 years later. Was he going to win it for a third time 5 years after that? Next thing we knew, Catchy had turned it round and won in a hill-hill finish. And really since then, he hasn't been doing well in the Matchroom events. Last 32 at the UK Open is furthest he's been. It's just edged out there by Chris Melling. Has won a couple of the smaller ranking tournaments in the Balkans. One of them was only a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he was always a master of them type of tournaments. Niels goes to a lot of tournaments in pool rooms. Usually like the pool room or the organiser would invite 4 or 5 players. I don't like to think how many of them events Niels has won over the years. Well,
it's like I was saying earlier, I always get the sense with him, he somehow manages to put the same level of intensity and effort into every single match he plays, no matter what the circumstances, and I guess that's why it would make sense he'd win those smaller tournaments. Well, this is so different to the last couple of matches we've seen on the main table, with a lot of balls being missed on both sides and close finishes. We may yet get one here, but it looks very unlikely at the moment. Niels Feijen overall is producing a fairly accomplished performance. He only needs to win 2 more racks to get through. Still no result from table 11. Ngo Chin and Imran Majid. It's the only other match still going in this round. Plenty of loser side action going on though. Nguyen Ngoc Tai is 6-4 up on Tuan Phi Hung in an all Vietnamese clash. They're just raced to 8, so he only needs a couple more. Dimitris Loukatos, UK Open quarter-finalist this year. Also involved on the loser side, and just ahead of Wen Phuc Long at 5-4. Ralph Souquet did so well at the US Open.
Long pot, but if he makes it, he'll have a shot on the 3. It's going into a generous pocket from this angle, so he can afford to catch the rail. Overdone it. Overdone the pot. I always feel like when you're missing them sort of balls, even though you're 7-0 up and obviously you're going to be still in the tournament, I just feel like that doesn't help you moving forward. I feel like you gain a lot of confidence from putting them balls.
Yeah. He's potted some good long ones in the match, but not that one. And a bit to figure out here. Imran Majid has won. He's beaten Ngo Chin 9-8, so Majid is through to winner's qualification, where he'll face a tough one against Oscar Dominguez, who played for the US in the Mosconi Cup last year. And Ngo Chin will go over to the loser side. Means this is now the last winner's side match still going today. Perhaps not for very much longer. Well, in the end, the side pocket has been his friend, just nudging it back into position, but be difficult queuing. It's a good shot. Yeah, but he needed another one there, and he was almost trying to steer the ball. Well, who needs to do that when you can fluke them? Although, that said, is he hooked on the 4? Look at this, he just sort of flings himself at it. He's nowhere near potting the 3. Cue ball almost knocks the 3 off its path towards that pocket at the other end of the table. Well, I think he can get through to the 4. Given the way he's played, if he pots this and gets on the 6, it will be quite astonishing. So much movement there. He seemed to just throw himself into the ball again.
Yeah, when you're playing a power shot, deep draw, it's so important you stay still. And a lot of the times, when you see a player move, it's like they're really trying to throw the whole body through the shot, but that's not how it works. Stay still, get the cue going right through. Smooth as you possibly can.
I'd like to think that's nervous laughter that's coming from him, because if you're going to be out there, you're 7-0 down, you're not playing well, and you're sitting there and maybe looking at someone in the crowd and laughing about it, doesn't really suggest you've got the right attitude. A little nudge off the 6 there, he's left a chance. On the 5 to the side. Well, it was less challenging in that instance to pot the 5 and get back round for the 6. Still a decent shot. It's very hard to see him winning a rack here, unless Niels does something like leave the 9 ball over the pocket for him, or a really simple run out of a few balls.
Oh, there's a cheeky little gap there. Look how he fired it in as well, Michael. 100 mile an hour.
Firing Feijen. Niels has nailed it. Dutch dynamite.
Sounds better than the Terminator. That Niels firing Feijen.
Niels Feijen spends a lot of time on the practice table. This must feel like he's having a practice session here, because it's been a total landslide, really. Nguyen Ngoc Tai has looked very much out of his depth in every way, and Niels Feijen in very little time has made it to the hill at 8-0. Look back on some of the moments that tell the story of the previous rack. Doesn't look like there's much more pool to be played in this match, but there will be a bit of a gap then before the next on table 1. In the meantime, we are going to go over to table 2 when this one finishes. We will see Ko Ping Han will be playing the British player Paul McCarthy. Loser side match.
As long as he don't leave himself jacked up. Yeah, you could see the old fuck going from Feijen. He knew it was coming, didn't he?
Says a lot about him, though, doesn't it? He's 8-0 up. He's in total control, as much as you'll ever see, really, in a match at this sort of level, and yet he still wants to get everything right.
Just one good pot here. Oh, again, that'll disappoint him. This is what I'm saying, Michael. I know he was a bit unlucky where the cue ball finished, but knocking these type of shots in do you the world of good. Even at 8-0, missing them to just put that little bit of doubt in your mind.
Yeah, and he's not really playing under any pressure here. It's pretty clear the outcome of this is going to be. I don't think you ever want to see someone getting whitewashed unless you're the one handing it out. This is Nguyen Ngoc Tai's chance to avert that, but that's gone a bit wrong. Well, the bank was the obvious shot to play to try to make something happen and get a rack on the board. It was closer to going in when it went over the other side. And that may very well be his last involvement in this match. Far from perfect. Not even really approaching his very best form, but overall Niels Feijen has done what he's needed to, and then some. And that's why, in very short order, he has run out the winner against Nguyen Ngoc Tai by 9 racks to 0.